Hello, this is Crystal Racing here, reviewing the seasons of Williams and Alfa Romeo so far during 2019. Starting off with Williams, who have still not scored a point so far, 7 races into this 21 race season. Recently, an article has come out discussing the issues of Williams, which, frankly, included quotes from both Lance Stroll and Rob Smedley, who both slammed the team's poor development work, admitting that the racer development investment never happened and that 2014 and 2015 led the team to believe that they could neglect their aerodynamic developments and instead focus more on making profit for their investors. Because, of course, back in 2014 and 15, the sport was more of an engine formula. However, of course, there have also been complaints thrown at the poor work of poor Paddy Lowe, who was signed up as the team's chief technical officer, where, of course, having gone from finishing third in the Constructors' Championship in 2014 and 15 and then fifth in 2016 and 2017, the team finished last in the Constructors' Championship this season and almost certainly will finish last again this season. And, of course, to make matters worse, whilst last year's car was fundamentally flawed but still scored points at power tracks such as Baku and Monza, this year's FW42 arrived late to pre-season testing and has frankly been far off the pace of all the other teams with the exception of Monaco, where both Williamsons actually managed to beat both Alfa Romeos, who of course I'm going to talk about in a moment. As a result of these issues, Williams put Paddy Lowe on an indefinite leave of absence, which, well, frankly, he's probably been sacked before the season started. And frankly, I mean, you have to look at some of the poor decisions where not only did, a lot of disagreements between Paddy Lowe and the racer development investment have caused their demise, but also there have been many disagreements within the team between Lowe, Rob Smedley, Claire Williams, and it does seem to be, frankly, I mean, whilst the Williams FW42 isn't quite as bad as it was at Canada and Monaco compared to the first 5 races, there is another issue, and that issue is that their 2 drivers have got such a huge disparity in performance levels. George Russell has easily outpaced his older and more experienced teammate Robert Kubica, who of course has been away for 8 years, and of course a lot of news circulating the team has been that Robert Kubica has been suffering from a chassis that has not been built in the same manner due to lack of spare parts, and that he's driving a car that's a lot worse apparently, despite the fact that they have swapped parts or have even swapped cars during this season, but yet Kubica still cannot get up to speed. And there have been rumours that Robert Kubica could be gone before the end of this year, which would be interesting to see whether Nicholas Latifi could get a chance. And now, of course, I'm going to move on to Alfa Romeo, who started this season looking very promising with a car that looked like it was the 7th fastest on the grid. Kimi Raikkonen scored points in the first 4 races, but since Spain, the Alfa C38 has just completely has been left behind in the development race, and even found both cars finishing behind the Williamsons at Monaco. I mean, at the moment, the team has admitted that it will be bringing updates for France, but it has to be said, as a Kimi Raikkonen fan, this is hugely alarming. I have absolutely no idea what has happened at Hinville in the past 3 races. Giovinazzi has still yet to register score points so far, and whilst Canada was the first time he managed to finish in front of Kimi, it has to be said Kimi basically gave up on that race, and frankly, how much you can sit there and say Giovinazzi is a real as a real future in F1 remains to be seen. And I have to say, I am not personally sure whether Alfa Romeo will improve, and it could well be quite some time until they start scoring points again. So, if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe to Crystal Racing, and I'll see you again next time.